Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, don't act like y'all ain't got no ratchet in you, boo-boo. Don't do that. Hey. Hey. Y'all good? Hey, Lord. Hey, Lord. I remember syrup sandwiches and crumb allowances. Can I get y'all with me? Hey, look. I remember syrup sandwiches and crumb allowances. Syrup sandwiches is good, though. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and crumb allowances. Hey, Northeast. Hey, look, I remember syrup sandwiches and crumb allowances. Hey, B-Days, hey, look, sing it with me. Look, I remember syrup sandwiches and crumb allowances. Talking when I Tuesday with the coldest like the analyst. Parmesan with my accountant lived and now I'm counting this. Tuesday with my boo babe, so the Kool-Aid for the analyst. Boy, I can buy you the whole world with my face stuff. You know it's good, let me sit that on your face. I don't want to hear about the alcohol. This Bella be the realest after all. Be humble, sit down, sit down. Be humble, sit down, sit down. Be humble, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Be humble, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Be humble, sit down, sit down. Be humble, sit down, sit down. Be humble, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Be humble, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. I said, ooh, who that dab that be stunting on the face, ma? Ooh, who that dab that be stunting on the face, ma? Ooh, tastes like do say with my boo, say with my face, huh? With my face, huh? With my face, huh? Ooh, who that little shorty frontin' on Renee? Ooh, who that shorty that be frontin' on Renee? Ooh, who that little shorty frontin' on Renee? Let me see it down. I'm too tired of the Photoshop. Hey, sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Sit down. Be humble. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Be humble. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Be humble. Sit down. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Sit down. Be humble. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. I said, I'm so freaking hard on the Photoshop. Hey, well, I'm so freaking tired of the Photoshop. Hey, I said, well, show me something natural like ass you can dress for. Huh? Hey, I said, well, I'm so freaking tired of the Photoshop. And she knows that that's if we go and carry it. Hey. Come on. We got the couch on it. Hold up. We're about to let the beat go. Yeah. And she knows I'm about to make the beat go. Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Mignon Show. I am your host, Mignon.
And I'm your co-host, Roz.
We want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching by YouTube, please subscribe to the channel right now.
Subscribe.
And we just want to say welcome back to our amazing co-host. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. We did share on the show that you were out for the passing of your mom, and just wanted to send a lot of love out to you and your family in this time of mourning. And we just appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you for all that you're doing here with the Mignon Show. And I am so happy to see you back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, guys, we start the show off. We have our girl chat and talk about our weekend. So, Roz, how was your weekend? Your full weekend back to your new norm, right?
Yeah, it's definitely like a new normal now. Trying to just figure out, life without my mom. So this weekend was just filled with just my family, my kids, my husband, and then some immediate family came over, just kind of like support and love up on us. You guys know, I always talk about the fact that our kids are brought up in a blended family. So I definitely just really want to shout out on air Toya and Russell Jackson. You guys know Toya is my kid's bonus mom. Some people say stepmom, but she's my kid's bonus mom, and she has really just like been there. She came over this weekend just to eat crab. She been over to rub my back, cry, like laugh, but just those things just like really mean a lot. Of course, I never have a doubt in my mind as far as how they're gonna be with the children that we are raising together. That's never a question. But for her to actually be a support to me and my sister, to go above and beyond. You know, she was up at hospice there with me, rubbing my back. She's been there every step of the way. So I just wanted to shout them out because you don't even know, she doesn't even know how much that meant to me just to be there on a different aspect. Like I said, never question that she's going to be there for the kids. That's not even a question. But to be there for me and how she has been there every day, sending me a text like, good morning, beautiful. You know, we're going to have a strong day and things like that. So my weekend has just been filled with reminiscing about my mom, talking about my mom, you know, been to the cemetery and things like that. But on the other side, just learning life lessons about how we need to talk to our children about death. Because I feel like we don't do that in the African-American community.
Yeah.
And life insurance because we're going to die. So just having those conversations with my children, that's what this weekend was for, about to let them know. You know, it's one thing, you know, we can have all these policies and stuff and then we hide them. But then if we die, who going to find them? So it has made me learn and revisit those type of things with my kids. And if something happens to me and my husband at the same time, we do have young ones that are not of age. So the weekend was filled with just support and grieving how we all grieve differently. I have 4 children, so that's a lot to each different personality. So.
Well, that's amazing. That's very important. And it just brings the whole meaning of blended family together. That's what that looked like. We're here to support each and every person of this blended family. So that's amazing because, you know, that's not a given.
It's definitely
That is not a given. So
not.
that's amazing. That's amazing. So shout out to Toya for doing that. And also you brought up something else about just having those conversations with our children about death, because death is another taboo conversation that we are so afraid to have. Every time somebody would start saying, well, you know, my will is here, somebody will say, oh, I don't want to talk about that right now, you know.
That is true.
But we have to face that because that's our reality, you know, so we have to know that those things are in place and where the important documents are, and to prepare us for that next stage of life, you know. So
because death happens.
Kudos,
death happens, and that's what my youngest is 7, so she seen death last year with her aunt, so she was already dealing, but we didn't really sit down and have a conversation. Now her and my mom, all my kids and my mom are extremely close, so this really hit home for her. And my husband was like, should we even take her? And I was like, this is reality. Death happens, and we have to have a conversation with her now. We have to let her ask us the questions. We have to let her grieve the way she want to grieve. But we won't even know what that looks like if we don't even have a conversation to see how we can support her and the boys.
Absolutely.
So.
And you know, it's so amazing. I was sharing with you earlier this summer where God was showing me about when I was like, why did God have me so close to last year where I was so close to 3 people that died to me, and I was trying to understand what God was trying to get me to see. And then so through the process of, he was showing me of how we grieve as a community of people. We don't even know why we're grieving. We don't even know what the funeral is about. We don't know why we break bread and all these things. And so God was showing me that if we teach how to grieve, we would know what to say to somebody. We would know that there is no words that you can say. Just a hug or that I love you is significant and sufficient enough. But we don't know that. And so that's why I'm trying to tell people, like, with grief, please have some grief counseling. You don't even have to be going through a death at that moment, but it's just a loss, as we shared before, a loss of anything that you lose. That's a loss in your life, whether it's a job, a relationship, or a death. You know, you have to go through that process, and you have to know the 5 stages of grief so you can be able to go through it in a healthy way.
And I definitely talk to my husband and say that him and I and our children, all 4 of them, will go to grief counseling, because like this is my mom.
Yes.
This is my mom. Like this, I'm being forced to live in a world without my mom, and I don't even know what the next second, like, for me looks like, you know. And when you made a valid point about what people say, if you don't know what to say, I would rather you just not say anything. Because some of the things that people say, it's kind of like natural, like, how you doing? My mom is gone. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask me how I'm doing, because that's going to make me feel some kind of way. So, like, the hugs and that's why I wrote a post. If you want to come over my house, come over. If you want to text me, call me. Just don't feel some kind of way if I don't give you the response that you were looking for. I'm in a different space. I might not want your hug right now.
Right.
10 minutes later, I might want it. You might come over, I might not say nothing to you. Then I might lay up on you, you know? So do whatever you feel as though that you want to do to show me that you support me. I see it on my terms, on my time, because my time is different now. The way I look at things is different. So shout out to everyone who has called, texted, prayed, email, whatever you did. If I did not return your call, please do not take it personal. I'm just in a different space right now, and I need to learn how to cope with what I'm dealing with and to learn how to live in this world being a motherless child right now. That's what I realized. That's what I am, and I need to know how to deal with that, and I don't know how to deal with it. I just buried my mom on Wednesday. She's just been in the ground not even 7 days.
Right, right, yes. Definitely. We have to learn that part about that. And like you said, people just want to just say something, and sometimes it can come off the wrong way.
Silence is
better
for
yes,
me. Just don't say nothing.
And give them a hug and a kiss and keep on moving.
People have buying food. Like, I just want to say again, I don't eat meat.
Yeah.
People
load you out with meat.
Chicken. I don't want to see another rotisserie chicken. I don't want to see another piece of Popeye's chicken. I don't even eat it, and I just definitely don't want to see it or smell it anymore. But I appreciate it. My kids ate it.
I know they did. And your husband.
And my husband.
I know he was happy to see that
not
chicken
me,
rolling
not
through
me.
there.
Finally, somebody brought some cornbread, and I was like, oh my goodness, something I can eat. So yeah.
Wow.
But how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Starting off Thursday, I'll take it back to Thursday. And y'all see this here. I have another award. This is number 15 for me. Yay! Well, it is actually, I was at the Center for Abused Persons for their Domestic Violence Awareness Month community breakfast. I was their keynote speaker. Thanks to their lovely board member, Roz Manley. I had an amazing time there. I was just, it's just so overwhelmed because this was a surprise. I was just there to speak. I had no inkling that I was going to be presented with an award. And so when they presented it to me, I was just like so humbled, because I do this work from my heart because I'm so driven by just trying to help people look at their relationships that they're in, making sure that they can identify whether their relationship is healthy or unhealthy. And if it's unhealthy, just to be able to reach out to get the resources that they need so they can always feel as though they're in a safe environment. And so if I have to share my story to get that message out, then that's what I'm going to do. And I tell you, that room was full of advocates. There was Charles County Police Department there. There was many other organizations there. There was churches. I remember one church, it was called Hope. Wait a minute, because they in here. Let me see. They were Hope. I want to get their name because what is his name? Okay, yeah, New Hope Church. That's it. They were there, and I apologize for that, but they was there, and there was so many community partners there.
Judges was there. We had some judges there.
Who else was there?
We had some judges there. First of all, the event is always open, and I will say community leaders do come out. So we had a whole table of sheriffs. Sheriff Berry was there with a whole table. We had Judge Divine there. We had oh my goodness, I can't believe I can't think of her name, and I know her. I served on the board with her with Zonta. She's the judge of the orphans courts when it comes to me. She was there. We had counselors for different schools because we talked about the topic this year was challenge the toxic. Youth ending the cycle of relationship violence. So we had teenagers there that submitted essays.
Yes, that was amazing.
Yes. That was our first year doing something like this.
Oh, y'all should do that every year.
So the teenagers had to write an essay on about what a healthy relationship looked like, and it was open to middle school and high school students to submit the essays, and then we had a panel to read them. We redacted all names and stuff and let the panel read them so that they it was all about healthy relationships. So it was a room. We usually don't sell out as fast as we sold out this year. Like I blinked my eye and I was like, oh goodness, we sold out.
It was. I remember. Yeah, you was like, okay, I got some more tickets, and you was like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. Oh,
I
got sold out.
It was like,
it's sold out.
Never mind, we're sold out. We don't have any more tickets. We had a lot of sponsors. We had a lot of sponsors. Charles Regional Medical Center, which is the hospital in Charles County. Like a lot of their people was there. We had some doctors in there who see what can happen when you're not in a healthy relationship. So,
yes.
So they were there. So we had a lot of support and community leaders and advocates that was there. So it was amazing.
Absolutely. And this was CAP's 36th anniversary, right?
Yep. This was CAP's. Shout out to the JCs because we always have it there. And it's funny. I was telling Mignon, I was like, wow. Next year we're gonna have to move it to the big room at the JC's because it was packed in there. It was not one empty seat. When we said sold out, you know how people say you sold out, then you get there and it's not really sold out. It was sold out. It was no seats there. So Dr. Laurel James who is the executive director of Tri-County Youth Services. She was there also. So it was an amazing event.
Mm-hmm. It was an amazing event. Like I said, the youth was in there, and the essay winners, they were powerful. And the young man, he had submitted when his mother had received his award. His essay was powerful, coming from the male perspective, and you know how he viewed it. So,
and which is good when you get the men and the boys to start, speaking up and taking charge of it. Because we always talk about that. Like, we can teach these young girls all day, but nobody's teach these sons what to do. So to have a male to actually come in there and write an essay too, it was a good time. You did an amazing job. I know it's always hard to even share, your story, but it touched so many. I saw people talking to you. They had their the sheriff's debuted their domestic violence car, and I remember trying to get you to get a picture of the domestic violence car, but so many people wanted to talk to you about it, and I was like, please. I was talking to the sheriff like, please don't drive the truck yet. Like,
she coming because she wanted a picture.
She wanted a picture with that. So this was the first time the CAP, and if you don't know what CAP stands for, it's Center for Abused Persons, and I am a board member on CAP because it means a lot to me. This is the first year that we did something like this where we had essay contests for the teenagers, when we invited teenagers to come, because it is in the morning during the school time, but parents came out to support their children and things like that. And it was just really, it was my first day out since everything had happened, and I wanted to be there because the cause was so important to me. I had teenage children also, and it was good, and we got to give you an award. I can't tell you all the secrets. I couldn't tell you.
I know. I was like, she didn't even tell me, y'all, but I was definitely surprised.
I'm like, I'm on the board for that part. That don't have nothing to do with this. So yeah, it was a great time. It was definitely a great time.
Well, I definitely had an amazing time, like I said, and I was so humbled when I received my award, and just thank you guys for all that you guys are doing in the community with CAP. And I just wish you many more years of, just trying to get the word out so we can just change this whole domestic violence epidemic. And, every time I say epidemic, I think about it because I'd be like, it's like a pandemic because it's global. It's all across the world. So we are still going to do our part, everything that we can to be able to continue to talk about domestic violence, with this being Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You guys know that we are busy 365 days a year with domestic violence. And so today, with that being said, we have an amazing guest here, guys, that's in the studio today. Her name is Tamira Love, and she is here. She has a powerful testimony. And so I was going to share something else, but we're going to get her to the table because, I really want to be able to share her testimony with y'all. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have her here at the desk. So you are watching the Mignon Show, and we'll be right back.
Y'all ready to move a little bit here? It's been a long time ill. Hey, I watch the Margaret. We're gonna start off in cruise control for you, baby. And nice and easy, fella. Gonna do this for all the sexy Aquarians in here. Happy birthday to you, baby. Let the pocket watch here. Happy birthday to Miss Sabrina. Yes, right, baby. What you say, baby? I'm coming to you. And Mr. Danny got a birthday. Happy birthday to you, Danny. What you got for me, baby? A big paw. Happy B-Day to Big Paw. Watch the pocket, watch here. And Lauren got a birthday. That's coming from the sexy Troy. Too smooth, Troy. That's right. That's right. Shout out to all the sexy Aquariuses in here. All right. Hey, I Bella Donna, watch the clock do the work. He's up on him, Cherie. Sweet Cherie, baby. Yes, indeed. Hey.
We here at Vox Wave believe that no one in the DMV should go without a coat this winter. So we partnered with Star Imports Dealership for this year's annual coat drive. If you have an old or gently used coat that can still be worn, drop it off with us. Vox Wave Studios at 4711 Off Place, Suitland, Maryland, and give the gift of warmth to somebody in need in the DMV.
Keep thinking about tea.
Okay, guys, welcome back. As you can see, we have the beautiful Tamira Hopkins at the table. Welcome, Tamira.
So, you guys, Tamira Hopkins, she was born in PG County, graduated.
Wait, hold on, we got to back up because you know Prince George's don't like to hear PG, so we have to say Prince George's County.
Prince George's County.
Okay.
Prince George's County. But she graduated from Westlake High School, which is in Waldorf, Maryland, which is where my middle son will be graduating this year from.
Yay!
Yeah. So when I saw this, I'm like, I didn't even shout my son out. And he graduated from Westlake and he played his last senior game. You know how they have senior night? So yeah, I let him know that I got an alumni. So she graduated from there, and she has a powerful testimony. She has a amazing bio. But why I need to read this when she's sitting right here? I'm just gonna sitting right here, over to make
sitting right here,
and let her tell. First of all, welcome. So tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, well, I'm Tamira Love. I go by that on social media. And I'm actually a domestic violence survivor.
Yes.
Praise them.
I survived my incident 5 years ago, March 22nd, 2014. So, yeah, I'm excited about that, and the journey continues.
Okay, well, Glad that you're here with us, still in the land of the living, because we know how domestic violence
Absolutely.
definitely go.
Absolutely.
As we all are survivors of a domestic
Absolutely.
violence.
And I just want to say, because we came to the realization that how important it is to just let a survivor know that we are glad that you made it out.
Thank you.
We are so glad that you made it out, and we do not take that lightly, because that is not everybody's story.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I just thank God that you're still here,
Thank you.
and that He's going to continue to use you, because you have a purpose.
Amen.
You have a purpose. You have a purpose to share with the world. And so I just want you to tell our audience that relationship that you were in when it changed your life on March the 22nd, 2014.
Yes.
How did that relationship start out?
Well, I was actually a high school student. I was in the 11th grade when I met him, so I was 16 years old. Well, I came out of 11th grade because it was during the summertime when I met him, and he was 20 years old. And back then, I was not a typical teenager, but I was hard-headed. I didn't listen. I felt like I was grown. So when I met him at a go-go party, and I lied about my age, and I told him I was 18 years old. And I should have never did that, because things happened later on down the line. So when we were talking, you know, it was good, cool. He would take me out. He was working. He wasn't no louse. And it was just sweet. Until, you know, when you start getting into arguments, you start to see their true colors. So I began, can I cuss? No?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he began to call me bitches, hoes, sluts, and stuff like that. Just degrading names. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But, you know, I was young. I thought that was cute, you know, so I stayed with him. And a couple of months later, it started to become physical. And the personality that I have, like, I'm real tough. I don't let nobody disrespect me. So we was fighting each other, which was not healthy. And so, like, it came to times when I would cook a meal, and it wasn't what he wanted, and he would block my eye, and I would go to work with a black eye and stuff like that, and I would have to, like, tell my manager I got into a fight with my brother or something, you know, just make up lies. So all these red flags was in my face, but because I never really experienced that or seen that in my family, I just thought it was okay, and I just dealt with it because I was a ride or die. I stood by his side. So,
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
When the first time he put his hands on you, what did he do? Did he punch you? Did he pinch you? Did he shove you?
We was fighting. He punched me.
He punched
in
you?
my face, smacked me, pulled my hair. You know, all it's like we was wrecking in the house, in public. It didn't matter. Like, he was a street dude. He didn't care, and yeah, we was wrecking like it was nothing. So, you know, that started to. I got tired after a while, and 1 year went past. We fighting, we not getting along. 2 years went past, 3 years, 4 years. But then the 5th year, I was just fed up. I was tired, and we ended up getting a place together. And I wouldn't always go home. Like, me and my grandmother are real close. So I would go to her house. And on March the 22nd, when I got off of work, I went to my grandmother's house, and he called her, and he thought it was me. And he said, if you don't come home, I'm going to kill you. And so when my grandmother relayed the message to me, you know, I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll go home. Because he'll threaten me all the time. Mind you, it was always a gun in the household. And somebody told me if they have a gun, they're going to use it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he had a gun in the household. But I'm like, you know what, he's not going to do nothing. I'm good. Just take me home. And my grandma was like, no, today is the day I think he's going to do something. So when she took me home, I was living in Landover Hills across the street from the Walmart. And she took me home, and she said, you know, if something happens or you don't feel safe, come back. So I went in the house. It was like pitch black, dark. So I walked in. He came from, our apartment was so small. So he came from outside the bedroom into the living room. And he was like, you know, why you ain't come home, blah, 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 whatever. And he pulled out a butcher knife. And I said, wait, the police outside. Like, I'm just making up lies. I'm like, the police outside, let's not do this. He grabbed me by my hair. He drags me, because I was a lot smaller back then. So he dragged me in the room. I seen the gun sitting on the floor. And he put me, like, in a corner. And when I got up on my knees, I just covered my face. Because he will always tell me, if I don't kill you, I'm going to make sure don't nobody ever wants you in life. And so when I covered my face, that's when he shot me. But the crazy thing is, I didn't hear the gun go off, and I didn't feel the bullets go in my body. So when I woke up, my head was heavy. I felt stuff like my skin, my meat hanging from my face. And I got up and I walked into the living room, and I seen his lifeless body just laying there. And he was facing me, okay? So that was just so traumatizing. And the crazy thing is, he shot me, but I was trying to save his life, I guess. I don't know. I felt
when
so
you
sad.
you seen him laying there.
Yes, because he had a mental illness. But I just walked out and I couldn't talk, but I was just saying, like, Lord, please help me. And when I got outside, everybody was out there and they called the police for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
My God.
Wow.
Wow.
And he shot me 5 times.
I was going to ask you how
ask
many
you that,
times did he shoot you? So you were shot in your upper torso?
Yeah, in my face,
In
my
your
chest,
face.
my back a couple of times. And yeah.
Wow.
And my recovery process was so tough. I had to get a trach. I had to get a feeding tube. My mouth was wired shut. I couldn't talk. And I was out for like a couple of days. And yeah, so it was difficult for me.
And you know what? And we share that with young girls because a lot of people that watch my show know my story. My daughter, she was murdered by her boyfriend at 18. And it's so amazing to me with so many of her friends that know that happened to her, but yet it didn't get them to come out of their abusive relationships, you know, because sometimes we just don't think it'll happen to us.
Right, exactly.
Because I was that 16-year-old girl. You know, that's when I've had my first altercation with domestic violence. And I didn't think that they would ever kill me. You know, it's something about you don't think that they would ever harm you. But in the sense of it all, you know, the beatings, the things that you go through, because I was pushed out of a moving car. I could have lost my life then.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the middle of the road, and thank God there was no cars behind. You know, God had blessed me through this whole situation, but what if there was a car behind the car I was riding in, and it would have ran me over because I was in the middle of the road.
Right.
And I was
Pitch black.
And I was left in the middle of the street. Woke up with cars coming at me, thinking I'm dreaming, not knowing what's going on. And by the grace of God, I'm here because a car could have hit me because I literally thought I was dreaming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just wanted again, just thank God that you are here.
Yes.
That you are able to tell your story. There's so many levels to your story, especially when you talked about how you were 16, but you told that your age was different. We know that our young generation is doing that.
Yes.
Now, for many different reasons, you talked about the cursing and the verbal abuse and how you didn't see anything wrong with that. As we talk to a lot of teenagers, we hear some of the conversations and they think it's okay, or they like, oh, my boyfriend lit, or my girlfriend lit, like this is the way we do it. And this has become their normal.
It is their normal.
It's their normal.
And you get accustomed to it, especially when you in love. Like, when you in love, it's blind. And when you feel like you love that person, whatever they do, you just be like, okay, I forgive you. Yeah. But then they continue to do it.
Because as women, we have this nurturing spirit.
Right,
we
exactly.
want to be able to help. And we feel as though that if I love him enough, then he'll want to love me enough to change and be who I need him to be. But what we fail to realize is that it will never happen because who we want them to be, they may never want to be.
Right.
And I remember one time I heard a pastor, he spoke a message on that, and he was talking about it's so many women out here who is in love with the potential of a man. And he said that, you're in love with something that don't even exist.
Right.
And when he said that, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, oh my God, I've been doing that all my life in every relationship. Being in love with a person that they will never become.
Exactly.
A fiction of your own mind.
A fiction of your own imagination.
You can put them all together. That ain't even them.
It's not even
and
them.
And then you try to make them be exactly who you want them to be.
People aren't going to be exactly who they are.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And we have to believe that when they show us who they are, believe it.
them. Absolutely.
Believe who they are. I don't care what. If they show you who they are, believe who they are. And watch how they treat everybody around you. Because I used to do that with my ex-husband. You know, he used to treat everybody foul. But when I first met him, he wasn't treating me
So
foul.
you like he
And
ain't
I
gonna do
thought-
that to me?
And I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny the way he was treating other people.
But sometimes it's vice versa because they'll treat everybody else good but treat you like crap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That is
saying?
true also.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true
That is
also.
true. And that's why it's so important to watch the signs.
Right.
You know, and what made me really when I went through it with my ex-husband, because at first I kept on trying to defend him. So I was that woman too, you know, black eyes, you know, lying about him, bruises and everything, lying, saying that I was in altercations with other people. And I was like, oh my God, like I keep on forgiving this man and trying to give him another chance. But he ain't even thinking about me, because one time he hit me in my eye, I almost lost my eye.
Yeah.
He almost cracked the bone that's right under where the socket where your eye sit at. It's still right to this day, because I have been hitting this eye at least 3 times by 3 different men. And so when he hit me in this eye, it had like a hairline fracture. If he would have had a little bit more force, I would have lost this eye.
Right. And that's funny you say 3 other men, because that was my story too. When I came out the hospital, I jumped straight into another relationship. He's actually my child's father, and it was very abusive. And it's sometimes you just carry that curse on your back, and you just really gotta heal yourself and let it go. And that was my mistake. When I came home, I didn't go to counseling. I didn't stay to myself to try to heal the outside and the inside. I went straight to him. Why? Because I felt like I was lonely. I was trying to look for some comfort or to try to fill that void of my ex. You know what I'm saying? And that was the biggest mistake that I made.
And a lot of us do that, male and female. We don't give ourselves a chance to grieve a loss. If we break up with someone, we have to grieve that loss. We have to understand, give ourselves time to heal. If we give ourselves time to heal in the middle of those relationships, then the next relationship, 9 times out of 10, ain't going to be like that.
Absolutely right.
But when you go in it right, when you're in that vulnerable state, you're looking for
Absolutely.
someone to love you, you're trying to, you know, make up for what that person did. And then sometimes we trying to get back at the person we left to let them see we with somebody else. You know, all these games that we play, and we end up putting our lives in jeopardy.
We hurting ourselves, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's what for me, that's what happened to me. Like when I finally realized this stuff that I was doing, I was like, you know, I'm not doing this anymore. And, you know, I do say there's life after domestic violence because I have an amazing husband. But it took for me to really grieve, deal with the stuff, the issues that I had become also, because I no longer knew who I was anymore anyway. Because I accept so much stuff that I got lost in translation somewhere. So it wasn't until I really had to grieve, figure out who I was, and for me, not for anybody else, but who I wanted to be and things like that, before I even was able to be blessed with an amazing husband. Because, you know, who I was back then, who I am now, like, your whole mindset is that I was okay with being alone. You know, I was okay of, you know, all of those type of things. And that, like you said, you think that we want comfort. We want these things, you know, and so we'll just settle.
Yes,
what
that's
we want.
it. We settle.
We don't even realize that we settled until we like, oh my goodness, this is what I was dealing with. Like I put up with this, you know. And sometimes, unfortunately, some of us don't even realize we settled until it's too late.
It's too
And
late.
it was almost too late for me. But God saved my life. So.
God said no.
Amen.
He said no.
You said your mouth was wide shut, and now you are talking clearly.
Yeah.
You are talking clearly to somebody who needs to hear you. To those teenagers out here, need to be reminded of, you know, just the importance of who they are, who they become. You said that you didn't go to counseling. Somebody needed to hear that, because somebody then told them that counseling is wrong, or that's the thing that we're not supposed to do, especially in the African American community. Like it's frowned upon when we say we need help or when we go to counseling. So somebody need to hear that. So yes, you are still here because you have a purpose, you have a calling, and you have a story that's going to resonate with somebody that's watching here today, someone who's going to pass this information on. So I truly, 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 just glad that you are here in the land of living and that you're able to do this, because this is
It's serious.
It
it's
is
happening
serious.
every day.
Every day.
While we
Attempted
talking
murder,
right now.
suicides
Every
all
day.
the time.
While we talking right now,
Every day
somebody's
it
going
happens.
through it.
Absolutely. By the time this show is over, 1,500 people
Yep.
will have been affected by some form of domestic violence just in 1 hour.
And
Somewhere in the United States, 1,500 people.
And did you hear her say something form? I need all of us to understand that domestic violence is not just physical.
Absolutely.
We need to understand that it is not just physical. The first thing that a lot of people say, well, he never hit me.
Yes.
Or she never hit me. And then the story continues, and I'm like,
But the way they talk to you, Lord
Right.
have
but
mercy.
you said they called you what?
Right.
They took all your money
or
out
they
your
taking
account.
your money,
Yeah,
right,
they took all
right,
your money.
right.
You not allowed to go out the house. Like,
Or you can't wear a particular outfit. They not your daddy or your
Yes.
mom.
no. So it's
Period.
levels to this. And
That's-
we really need to educate
And
ourselves.
that's,
And that's what we're doing.
important with the education
Yep.
and awareness, because you have to know that domestic violence is about power and
Yes, it is.
control.
Yep.
Yep.
That is the two main things. They are there to control you. They want to control everything about you, and they want to use the power
Yep.
over you.
Yep.
And one thing about it, even coming from, domestic violence in the 80s and the 90s at that time, it was so amazing to hear Tamara's story, because those the same things that the guys back then was saying to me. And you
It
can
ain't
see that
changed,
the
honey.
conversation ain't changed,
ain't
just the
changed.
players have changed.
They ain't changed.
And what we say is because of what children, at some point, that was a little boy.
Yeah.
That was a little boy, and he was witnessing that behavior from somewhere. Whether he got it from the street corners, whether he got it from inside his home, his cousin's house, his grandma's house, someone he's seen talking like that to women, belittling women, verbally abusing them, and then thinking that he can put their hands on them.
Yep. Even when we talk about the little kids, how it was taught like, if he hits you, that means he likes you.
Yes, for little girls. Absolutely. And so we tell people that we are, as women, we are taught very early on to accept the abuse of a man, because he can't verbalize that he likes us, so he's going to hit us. And so as we grow up, we say, well, he liked her. He liked me. And then on the flip side of the boy, he grow up thinking that, okay, if I like her, I'm going to pull her hair or something. Then this thing when he becomes a man, and then, okay, I like her, but she's saying something, and I pull her hair. The same thing. They're doing the same thing.
Right.
It ain't changed. It has not changed. I am 38. In 38 years, it's the same the stuff I watched in my household.
The same
things
thing.
that I watched in my family. It's the same thing. It's growing up the same way, believing the same thing. And so that's why we all three are here, because we need to make a change.
Absolutely.
We need to end this. This is getting, it's been out of control.
And the dynamics have changed, because as when I was growing up, we had a thing where we was fighting, because we didn't see ourselves as victims, because we were fighting. It was like, okay, we was fighting our boyfriend this week, but then he took me shopping. So that's just how it was.
Right.
It would roll off your tongue just like that. I remember in my crew of friends, it used to be so bad with so much fighting going on in the relationships that when we go out on couple, it was like a lot of couples, we would be together every weekend. We would sit there and wonder, who gonna fight tonight? Which couple gonna get into it this week? It would be nothing for me to go over my girlfriend's house, and I'm going to her house, her and her husband, and the glass dining room table broke in the middle of the floor. And I'm walking in like, what is going on in here? Holes in the walls. It was nothing for them to come to my house, and my boyfriend at the time then punch holes all in the wall, or then cut up clothes, and all this crazy stuff that we went through.
My God.
And then in the black community, it was told to us that whatever stayed in the house.
Oh, yes,
whatever was
the
going on
pet
house,
peeve.
Stay in the house. So,
I hate that saying with a
that's why
passion.
nobody really want to speak out and say anything.
And that's why we're grown up and not healed. Because
Yeah.
all this stuff that happened in our household, and we was taught not to talk about what's going on. Now we're
That's
grown
what's killing
women
us.
and
Right.
grown men.
That's what's killing
who are
us.
trying to
Right.
think. We're grown women and grown women who still dealing with the things that happened to us in our childhood that we was not able to talk about. Mama, daddy, grandma, whoever raised you would smack you if you talked about what was going on in their household. My business is my business, all those things. And now we're trying to heal for those things that we didn't deal with back then. I hate that saying, what goes on in this household stays in the household. If there's something going on in my household that's hurting anybody in my household, I'm going to shout it to the rooftop. Because there is going to be somebody who can help me or lead me to where I need to go to deal with this situation. I don't want anybody else growing up like me, 38 years old, trying to figure it out, get help, going to therapy.
Yes.
No, we need to touch these children right now.
Like, we got to get away from the mindset, whether male or female, that if a relationship is not going right, you want to take that person out. You want to kill that person. You want to say if they ain't with you, they not going to be with nobody else. Like, come on, y'all, get a grip.
They still saying that.
Get a grip on that. Life is too precious. And I tell you, if something goes wrong in a relationship and you guys are not right for each other, it don't mean that you are a bad person, neither one of you, but y'all just not good for each other.
Right.
The grown thing to do and the friend thing is to recognize that, because how you want to keep in a relationship where only thing you're getting is the worst out of somebody? I don't want to be in a relationship where all I can get from you is the worst of you, or you get the worst of me.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's a relationship that you can end at any time. Like, you learn something from. It's like friendships, the same thing. Like, you learn something, you get something out of every relationship. I always say, I kissed many frogs before I got to my prince.
Yes.
But I learned many things in all of those relationships that actually made me who I am. Today, like, to learn those things today. So get away from this stuff. It's too many people in this world for you to be trying to take somebody out. Life is precious. Like, there's so much things that we need to be doing. And our children is seeing this. Please think that mommy and daddies or whoever y'all, please stop thinking that you close your door and ain't nobody, your kids ain't hearing what's going on. They heard it.
Yeah,
they heard it, and they feeling
everything.
it. And now they thinking that it's okay because daddy hit mommy or mommy hit daddy, but then they make up. Like, we saw that. We heard that. You know, and we thought that that's what love was.
Yep.
We was taught that that's what love was at a very young age. And we need to stop teaching our children that.
It ain't nothing but a generational curse.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We talk about that all the time.
Absolutely. Because the things that we're not talking about.
Right.
When you don't talk about it, it just grows. It never gets better. And God is always showing me things, how to reference domestic violence. He was showing me how, like, when the other thing was in our community, it was teen pregnancy.
Yeah.
Parents ain't want to talk about sex with the kids. And then we had all these teenagers having babies and this and that and that. And it's because we won't have the conversations at home. School cannot teach our children those personal things. They should be learning those things at home in a safe environment where they're able to ask questions. And that's the same thing what we have done with domestic violence.
Right.
Swept it under the rug. But no, we can't continue to do that. We got to talk about it. Because the same thing with teen dating pregnancy, when we started talking about it, start having programs, they brought it into the school, it declined. Now you got women, they like, oh, I ain't have no babies.
Right.
And,
you know?
Something in school going to teach your kids life lessons anyway. Okay, I work in the school system. We are teaching kids how to pass the test.
Exactly.
There you go.
Life has changed. The world has changed. It's about those numbers. We ain't in there talking to them about life lessons.
Exactly. Those life skills is not there.
Right. Life skills, they done took
Life
all
skills
of
is
that
not
out
in
of
school, people.
They took God out of school and everything else out of school. Like, so please stop thinking that they're going to learn about sex education in school. Sex education in school is hygiene. That's what it is. That's what
And
it
they
is.
don't
You got your
good.
deodorant on.
That's it. It's who got on deodorant and what
Right.
kind you should be using, and here's what a toothbrush look like.
Yep.
Like, it's not the same anymore. Like, I'm not. Shout out to all
That's
my teachers.
true.
Y'all know I love all the teachers, and we're doing what we're supposed to, that we're supposed to be doing. But it's different now. Parents, you are your kids' first teacher anyway. We need to teach
Absolutely.
these life lessons. We need to let them know what signs of a healthy relationship is.
Yes.
What they will accept. We need to teach them to love themselves. Because for me, it wasn't until I started loving myself.
Yes.
Myself that I didn't accept anything else. I had to learn how to. I don't love nobody no less, but I learned to love me more. And when I did that, all that other stuff, no. So we need to be teaching our kids that. Get on your kids with this bullying and talking about people, calling people ugly and all. Like, we need to get away from that. We're raising children who don't know how to deal with their issues.
Absolutely.
Their anger.
Absolutely.
Their low self-esteem.
So, Tamara, if there's a young girl right now that's listening to this broadcast who may be in a domestic violence situation and looking to get out but just don't know how, what would you share with her?
Basically, first pray. I do believe in God, and I know He will heal all situations because He brought me out of mine.
Amen.
But pray talk to somebody that you can trust, that's not going to judge you, that's not going to look down on you, and that's not going to be telling you, girl, just leave. Because when you tell a person just leave, that's going to push that victim or that female or that man to the abuser even more.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
find somebody that you can confide in, make a plan, get on your feet, try to save your money. If you know that abuser is the financially stable person, find a job if you can, try to make extra money so you can start, like, make a savings account or something, so when you want to leave, you'll be able to leave. Because that's the problem. A lot of victims depend on their abuser because, you know, they're the household person that pays all the bills and stuff like that, so they don't think that they can walk out on faith. But you can walk out on faith because God will protect you. So
absolutely. Let me just say something real quick in reference to that. Also, if you are a friend and you are watching a person in an abusive relationship and you're trying to figure out how you can help, like what Tamara just said, that whole financial piece is huge. Most of the time, a lot of people stay in their domestic violence situation because they just don't have the funds to go anywhere else. So we suggest that friends, that maybe you can get a credit card, put some money on there, set it to a side, that when she's ready to leave, that you probably can put her up for a hotel for a few nights until, you know, she can find a more stable place to get into. And also let them pack a bag and leave it at your house. Because a lot of times they leave, they don't have time to pack anything. And so they're going to need some personal items. They're going to need personal documents like Social Security cards and birth certificates. All those different types of things. Let them be able to leave a bag at your house.
And
just
like a safe haven.
Absolutely.
Because our abusers know everywhere we go. So just try to find a safe haven that you can escape to. But, you know, just be safe in whatever you do. I can't give the blueprint on how to leave because I didn't leave. Like, death was me leaving, basically. But just be safe in whatever you do and just keep your head up and know that there is hope. You know? Don't give up. And, you know, it's sad to say, but whatever your abuser tell you to do, just do it. You know what I'm saying? I know that went over your head, but just do it. So if he wants you to cook a certain meal, cook it, because that's going to, you know, diffuse the situation. You know, you may not get a black eye that day. So,
and you have to really, I really understand what you're saying, because you really have to do what they're saying until you're ready to move. If you're not ready to move and you're going to stay there, then you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there going against them, knowing that, you know, the fights get very violent. They have a gun in the house, and I'm telling you, if they have a gun in the house and they have threatened you that they were going to use it, believe that they will.
Yes, they will.
Believe that they will pull that gun and shoot you.
I saw, I just want to piggyback. I see you, I don't know what you live
I'm on live on Facebook.
So someone said something that I wanted to say something to. Judy Hill, she said, but all curses can be broken. And yes, I do believe that all curses can be broken, but I can't break her curse. And I can't break her curse. She has to break her own curse.
That's right.
I do believe that we said this, and some of the boys grew up, they saw this. They saw this in the household, so they thought this is how they were supposed to act. We're not out here just talking to little girls, or we're not out here just talking to victims. We're also talking to the abusers.
Exactly.
We have counseling and training for the abusers also, because we know that sometimes they have been the victims also of the things that they have been through. So when I saw your message, I just wanted to comment on it and let you know we on a whole thing. We're trying to talk to the victims and the abuser. That's why I'm a part of CAP. Also, they have a whole program for both of them, because they work hand in hand.
Yes,
we said
there's no winners. There's no winners in this.
In domestic violence, there is no winners. Everyone loses in domestic violence. We just heard your story, what you're going through,
your family,
what you went through, with your family,
the abuser's family.
It's no winners in domestic violence. But as far as the curses that you talk, yes, I agree they can be broken, but I can't break them, and I cannot be held into a relationship thinking that I'm going to be able to break whatever is broken in you, when I'm damn near broken my own self trying to figure out what's going on with me.
Absolutely.
But, you know, just keep your head up, and, you know, you'll get through it, you know.
Absolutely. God will definitely make a way.
And try not, because, you know, my thing was, after I was abused, then I became an abuser.
Absolutely.
Because
that's
then,
my story.
like, all the hurt and pain that I had, the next person that I started talking to, now I'm abusing him, calling him names and disrespecting him.
Because now
I'm not healed.
Because now it's like a transferring of energy, and you're like, well, I'm gonna get you before you get me, because I already know what this look like, and ain't nobody gonna do this to me.
Right.
And so you do become the abuser, because that was my story. I had ended up becoming the abuser, and I ended up stabbing my husband and being locked up.
Yeah.
And so it do happen, and that's why you have to be healed. That's why you gotta look at what you bring to the table. Because at first, when I stabbed my husband, I tell people the best thing the judge did for me is send me to anger management.
Me too.
Because I found out who I was, and I found out what I was bringing to the table, and why I was even accepting men to treat me any kind of way. So we got to find out also what's going on with us. Why are we so accepting of this behavior?
Yeah, and the same thing, the judge ordered me to go to anger management. When they found out who I was at the Family Crisis Center, they sent me to victims management. But what I realized at anger management, damn right I'm angry.
Yeah,
I'm angry. I don't even know I didn't even know I was angry until somebody told me I was angry. You know what I'm saying? And Family Crisis Center really helped. I will forever be grateful to the Family Crisis Center in Prince George's County. In Prince, you don't want me to say PG, in Prince George's County. So yes, you do become angry, but listen, you guys, love yourself.
Yes,
please do.
Love yourself.
Love yourself.
More than anything, love yourself. Be selfish with
Yes.
yourself. You know who you let in those things. Let's get to signs of a healthy relationship.
Yes.
Let's have a healthy relationship. He or she is sensitive to your feelings. He or she respects your opinions and your values. I feel that he or she trusts me. He or she is not overly jealous or possessive.
Yes.
Please think when they asking you to call them every time you go somewhere. Don't think that's cute.
That
That is not
ain't
cute. I'm married and we ain't about to do all that all the time. Like, that's not happening. He or she accepts me for who I am and doesn't try to change me. You can't change nobody. Stop trying.
You can't change nobody but
a
yourself.
baby can't even change you.
Exactly. He or she treats me as an equal. He or she is willing to discuss our problems and disagreements. He or she does not try to control my life. He or she does not embarrass me or put me down in front of others. It's okay with him or her when I spend time with my friends. Yes, have a life. It's
Have
okay.
a life.
It's your life to live.
Especially when you're young.
Yeah.
Young,
Don't wait till you old like us.
Always have a life. Always have a life.
Right.
Always have a life.
I am not afraid.
She said old like me. Y'all hear that?
I am not afraid of his or her temper. Yes, we all have a temper, but when you become afraid of who that person is when they're angry, that's a problem. I can easily tell him or her when my feelings are hurt. He or she does not criticize how I look or dress. He or she never talks about me behind my back. He or she listens to me, tries to understand my point of view. You ain't always right.
Absolutely.
You ain't always right.
Absolutely.
We can have healthy conversations.
Tamara D, I know this weekend you were at Curlin, White Washington's, what is it? Silent Tears. Silent Tears.
Yes.
She was actually, she rocked the runway with Curlin.
And I cried.
Yes, that is something that I know I have done for many years with Curlin. So shout out to Curlin.
I did it last year.
For doing that, yes. And so, do you have any other events coming up?
Well, yes. November the 8th, I'm going to be at the Mother and Teens.
9th?
No, 9th. I'm sorry. But yes, the 9th, which is the first Saturday in November. Right.
Yes. The second.
The
second Saturday.
The second.
Yes.
Week in November.
Yeah, she will definitely be at
I'll
the
be
mother
there.
and daughter brunch, guys, that I was talking about with my
Yes.
girlfriend's house and Nada Runaway and the Lakeisha Brown Foundation. It's going to be an amazing event.
Yeah.
At first, we were selling tickets, but we have an amazing sponsor that came in and purchased all the tickets. So if you go to the Eventbrite link that's on my Instagram and also my Facebook, you can definitely RSVP for some free tickets and get them. I'm telling you, mother and daughter, please come, because we're definitely trying to bridge the gap with the communication. So you won't have a child that's 16 years old that's going through this abuse and they don't tell you, because it happens. Because I didn't tell my mom and dad and tell them a thing. And I meet so many youth that goes through so much and they say they ain't told their parents nothing. So, and we want to be able to bridge that gap. So when they're going through something as traumatic as this, they will be able to sit down with you in a safe environment and let you know what's going on. So you guys can be able to come up with a plan to be able to get them out of that relationship.
Yes, and listen and don't judge.
Please don't judge.
Amen.
Please don't judge. Because that's why they're not talking to you.
Exactly.
That's the
They
number
can't
one
trust
thing they
you.
say why they don't
Yep,
talk to you,
yep.
because you're being judgmental and
Yeah.
pointing fingers. And half of the stuff they doing, they got from you.
Hello.
Or you already been through it anyway.
Yeah, they got from you, okay? You and your boyfriends and your husbands, and you thinking that because you done sent them upstairs to the room
Yep.
that they don't know what's going on. They hear everything
Yes,
and
they
know
do.
everything. Okay, guys? So, oh my goodness, always, we only here an hour and the time goes so
Yes, it
fast.
does.
But we definitely want to thank you so
you.
much for
Thank
coming
you for
and
the
sharing.
opportunity.
You're welcome, sharing your amazing story. And we just wish you all the best.
Yeah.
Keep
Thank you.
sharing your story. Keep talking about it. The more you talk about it, the more people are going to hear you. And the more young girls can just understand that it can happen to me. Because that's the goal, to understand that it can happen
it
to you.
Not exempt.
Okay.
It can happen to you,
Yes.
okay? I don't care how much money you make, where you
Right.
live, where you work, who this or who that. It can happen to you. It will
All
definitely show
colors,
up to
all
your door.
races, everything.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
So we
you.
definitely want you to give out your social media handles.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at Tamira Love. It's TIMIRALOVEE. And you can also find me on Instagram at Tamira Love, TIMIRALOVEEE, 3 E's on
Awesome.
Instagram.
You always can find me on Manly's Blended Family on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Manly'sBlendedFamily.com is also my website.
Thank you. And guys, we just want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We want to thank Manly's Blended Family and also the Lakeisha Brown Foundation for making this happen each and every Monday. And so, guys, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at MBA Speaks. So thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You can see that Tamira has on her purple ribbon and her all that purple. So definitely, guys, go out, get the education that you need so we can have healthier relationships, stronger families, and thriving communities. So, guys, we'll see you back here next week, same time. And don't forget, subscribe to that YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, and God bless.
A sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lean. Ooh, ooh. Diamond in the back, a sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lean. Ooh, ooh. Yeah. Subtle thoughts. We talk about the gangster lean now. With the diamond in the back.